need that fan. This one's okay, unless it's disturbing others. No. There are mosquitoes, then keep it, yeah. Yes, and if there are mosquitoes, we pray. Small mosquito, then there are few babies. Mix of small big. Mosquito mix. You want a wall? No, I just didn't want to sit in front. Yes, but she keeps inviting people to sit in front of her. She keeps inviting, I don't know why. Nice view of my back. Very educational. You put some old Your friend reached home safely? Before they complain, we are having lot of fun and they cannot hear. I should wear this. Om Shanno Mitrasham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspatihi Shanno Vishnururukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Continuing with the intricacies of what is actually Brahma Pravesha. Okay, so Brahma Pravesha means what? It cannot mean anything else other than Pravesha. Pravesha Iva Pravesha. Iva means what? As though Pravesha. So we have to get to that. And Adi Shankara is not happy just saying Pravesha Iva. It's not just so to say as though. How you arrive at the as though is an intricate painting of a beautiful landscape. And this portion of the Bhashya is so beautiful. And it touches the heart because it is the whole essence of Vedanta Shastra is in the next paragraph. So, where we are, I forgot. Brahma Avagamaha. Brahma Avagamaha. Let me... where we are in the Bhashya? Brahma Avagama. Right there, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me open that. Page 284 online, 281?
282.
282, okay. Compromise, yeah. So, 282 here. Further, towards the end, Anyarthatvat, tad vijnanam cha vivakshitam prakritam cha tat brahma swarupa avagamaya cha. All this was done for what? We should not forget. We should not, in other words, forget the adhikara. Adhikara means what? Not qualifications here. Not shamadama. Adhikara means topic. This is very common in Paninian Sutra, Brahma Sutra. In all the Sutra literature, you will come across the word Adhikara. Adhikara means topic. So like in Paninian Sutra, we have one Adhikara, one Sutra which is called Adhikara Sutra running for the whole chapter. Pratyayah. That word Pratyayah runs through the end of the third chapter. So like this, we have Adhikara. So Adhikara here means topic. What is the topic? Brahma Avagamaha is the topic. Avagamaha means understanding. Putting it through our thick heads that Brahman is not an object, it is the truth of oneself. This is the Avagama. This is what has to happen. And how it happens, half of it we have seen in this whole thing. So, Brahma Avagamascha Arabdha. So, Arabdha means what? This topic of Brahma Avagama was begun. Where was it begun? Right from Satyam Jnanam Anantam it was begun. And then Tatra Annamayad Atmanaha Anyontara Atma Pranamayaha. We saw this Vijnanamayaha Manomayaha iti Vijnana Guhayam Pravishtaha Praveshitaha. So Brahman was made to come from one thing to another thing to another thing. First it was seen as the truth of this body, which is a gross body, which is nourished by food, which is born of food, which goes back to food, etc. And that food which nourishes the body was seen as Brahman. And then before we come to the reckless conclusion that food is Brahman, Brahman is food, food is Brahman, no, Annam Brahma, but Brahman is not just Annam because it is, otherwise it will become what? Limited. So then another more subtler thing was introduced, and the subtler thing is Pranamaya Kosha, the whole world of prana, which because of which the food gets digested. That means it's subtler than the food, and then it is more pervasive than the food, and then that covers the Annamaya Kosha. Covers means it pervades the Annamaya Kosha. Like this it was told, and then we were brought all the way to what? Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya means what? Karta, the doer. So this doership is also an as though superimposition upon Brahman. So Vijnana Guhayam Praveshitaha. Vijnana Guhaya means Kartra Buddhau. In the buddhi of this so-called doer. So in the buddhi of this doer, that is what is the truth of Brahman. Up till now, the Upanishad has brought us, just like the mother teaching the child how to walk. Holding the hand of the baby, 1-year-old baby, and slowly making it walk and leaving it for a little bit, letting it fall and then again walking. So this is how we have been led throughout, very, very carefully and lovingly. And then Tatracha Anandamayaha Vishishta Atma Pradarshitaha. So then after Vijnana Guhayam Praveshitaha Drishtaha, after Brahman was shown to be the truth of Vijnanamaya, then it was told what? There is Anyontara Atma, one more Atma is there. What is that? Anandamaya, Anandamaya Kosha. This Maya is there everywhere. Maya means it is a modification. It's not Mukhyatma. It's the expression of, it's a particularized expression of that. Like the sunlight coming through an aperture. Sunlight would be Brahmatma, the aperture would be Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, etc. So you make a little hole in the cardboard and then you look and then that you let the sunlight come. That is the various Mayas, where it is small, big, depending on the size of the aperture. So like this. And so this is the so tatracha anandamayaha vishishtaha atma pradarshitaha ataha param anandamaya lingadhigamad dvarena ananda vivriddhi avasana atma brahma puchham pratishtha sarva vikalpaspada nirvikalpa Atma asyam eva guhayam adhigantavyah iti tat praveshaha prakalpyate. a total mouthful, and quite a lot of, I mean, for this there is there is pages of tika and other commentary which we won't get into, but it is very, very involved. So these, for these 3 lines, we can finish the whole hour in these 3 lines. It's that dense, as you can see. So, not to get overwhelmed with the Sanskrit, let us just look at it simply. So, tatracha means in this context. Brahma pucham pratishtha iti nirvikalpah brahmanah praveshah prakalpyate. Prakalpyate means is imagined. Prakalpyate means it's an imaginary entry. It's not that Brahman has walked inside the creation. That's not, because there is no creation other than Brahman. So it's an imaginary kalp, to craft, to make. So pra plus kalp, prakalpyate, passive voice. Prakalpyate. It is prakalpyate means upacharyate. It is just a figure of speech. So the word entry is what? It's a figure of speech. It's not really an entry or anything, because if it is really an entry of Brahman into the buddhi, which is like a cave, then we have many problems. Then Brahman becomes finite. If it is sitting in my buddhi, then it cannot be in your buddhi at the same time, and then it cannot be in the universe at the same time either. So there are so many problems, and so therefore prakalpyate means upacharyate, just for the sake of upachara, for the figure of speech, so that one understands, it is prakalpyate. So brahmagam avagamascha arabdha. So then for the sake of knowledge alone, this adhikara and this guha nihitatvam being in the so-called buddhi guha was pointed out. Why? To understand Brahman. That's why. And so Brahma avagamaha arabhyate means this is a adhikara. This topic is there right from the beginning, and that topic eva arabhyate. The topic has begun. So tatra anandamayad atmanah anyontara atma pranamaya etc. All these were talked about. And so Annamaya cannot be Atma, so up till Anandamaya it was taken. And then what do we have? So we have tatra Anandamaya vishishtah Atma pradarshitah. So now tatra means what? In the Vijnanamaya, before we think of Vijnanamaya, the Karta, as the ultimate, then the Bhokta was presented. Not somewhere beyond Vijnanamaya, but that which pervades Vijnanamaya in that same buddhi. Vritti bhedat. It's a different vritti. First there is a vritti. Vritti means the modification, thought from the standpoint of the identification and thought, etc. So vritti bheda is there. First I think of myself as what? Karta. And then I do certain things. Why? Bhogaya. In order to then become Bhokta. So then these Karta, Bhokta are what? Vrittis, different vrittis with which I, the Ahankara, the Antahkarana Avachinna Chaitanya, this consciousness identified with or endowed with the Ahankara, is identifying as Karta, Bhokta, etc. And so this was also pointed out. And then so this is vritti bheda. Vritti vishesha means the disposition of the vritti with reference to the bhokta is called vritti vishesha. Anandamaya vritti vishesha pradarshitah. So then Anandamaya, who is what? Vishishta Atma. Why Vishishta Atma? Because it has got Visheshanas, adjectives. Because it is Maya. It is not Ananda itself. It is Maya. So what kind of adjectives does it have? Tasya priyame vashiraha. Then modo dakshinah pakshah. Pramoda uttarah pakshah. Ananda atma. And then Brahma pucham pratishtha. Adi Shankara catches hold of the tail of the bird. Why? That is without vikara. That is the one without vikara. The tail of the bird is what? Brahman. The other things go up and down. Priya, small happiness. I have just shown you coffee flavored biscuits. Okay, you'll get this at the end of the class. Little smile is there. Let's see if she gives or not. And then there are only 2 boxes and so many people. Let's see if it'll be enough or not. And then especially studying in the Bhagavad Gita about Jnani Lakshana, I have to at least say, okay, you have, I won't have. So therefore, it's only Priya at this point. Then after that, okay, the box is being opened, it's being distributed. Then what does Priya change into? The mental condition called mental Kriya, mental vritti called, mental predisposition called Priya turns over to what? Moda. Then what? Then this thing, in the hasta it is there. But still it is still moda. Okay, it is mine. I got it. I got the last cookie. Fantastic. And then what? Then the hand has to go in the mouth. Okay, here in a different context, the hand has to go in the mouth. Because 2 weeks ago we saw it differently. So the hand has to go into the mouth and the biscuit has to become one with me. Then what do we have? Pramoda. So this is the Vishesha. So the Ananda, that is, so the Anandamaya, that is Vishishta. Vishishta with Priyamoda Adi. And then not just Vishishta with Priyamoda, Pramoda, that is the only connection we will understand right now. But it is also Vishishta with what is the section that is yet to come, which is called Ananda Mimamsa. Mimamsa means it's all about me. Okay, yeah, so it's an analysis of what? Ananda. The Shruti does an excellent job here of showing the gradations of Ananda possible. First, it sets up a ideal type of human Ananda. Yuvasyati sadhu yuvadhyayakah. So here is a young man. Oh, the Shruti is being sexist. Why not woman? Because man has got more strength, fewer responsibilities. Doesn't have to take care of the children in the same way that the woman has to do. Doesn't have to carry them in the womb. All these responsibilities are not there. So, yuva syat. And what kind of yuva? Not an irresponsible yuva. Sadhu yuva. Very good boy, young man. And then, okay, must not be studied. No. Yuva syat sadhu yuvadhyayakah. Very well studied. Okay, must not have good manners. Ashishtha, very nicely raised by the family. He's looking like son-in-law material for many people, for many mamas, for many uncle types. He's looking like son-in-law material. But what does the mommy say? What does the auntie say? The auntie says, show me the money. He must be a nerd. If he's a sadhu, yuva, young and then just quiet, must not be having any money. But ashishtaha, dradhishtaha, very, certain mind, balishtaha, strong. It's not like he's a nerd, only good at working on computers, but then if you go falls down, can't do anything. Not like that. Strong, full rippling with muscles, 6-pack abs, and all these things. And then what? Dradishtaha, balishtaha. And then show me the money, the auntie says. Before I give my daughter to this fellow, show me the money. And then what does the Shruti say? Tasya iyam prithivi vittasya purna syat. So this whole world, this whole earth, with all her resources, gold, diamonds, mineral resources, natural resources, everything, let us say belongs to him. Okay, now there are no objections for the marriage. So everybody is happy. So now this is one unit of the absolute human Ananda. Who can get Nobody can get. That's why it's an ideal type unit. Then the Shruti doesn't stop there. The Shruti says, just do some Vedic mathematics. There is actually a book called Vedic Mathematics, but that's not what is talked about here. Here the mathematics is very simple. Multiply this one unit of human happiness by what? 100. Te ye shatam manusha anandaha. Multiply this by 100. Saya eko gandharvanandah. Then that becomes, so 100 units of human happiness becomes 1 unit of the lower rung celestials, not even the higher rung celestials. Chota mota celestial. Just who just belts out into song at every opportunity. These are lower rung celestials called yakshas, kinnaras and gandharvas. These are the fellows. They just sit and sing. That's all they do. But they have fantastic voices, great instruments, and mesmerizing songs. So they have punya vishesha. So they are able to detect apashruti from miles away. They never go out of tune. Even when they snore in tune. Okay. So this is the 1 unit of what? Gandharvananda. Then what do we do? Multiply 1 unit of Gandharvananda with what? 100, multiply that by 100. And then it becomes 1 unit of these, what is that? Chaiwala Devata's Ananda, Karma Devata's Ananda. Yeah. So what do the Karma Devas do? Yo devan karmana apiyanti. Apiyanti means they please. They please the other devas with their seva. So they bring chai to the higher rung celestials. Even the chai wala in heaven enjoys what? 100,000 times more ananda than you can ever think of. Okay. And then it goes like this. Indraha, Prajapatihi. You keep multiplying by 100, Pitraloka, Ajan, Ajanam Loka. All these lokas, various lokas we didn't even know existed. And all of them have, so it's not just Priya, Moda, Pramoda, but it's also all these things. So then, so therefore what? So this is what this is what is called. So all these things are talked about, and then at the same time what is talked about, all these levels of ananda are enjoyed by who? Shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. That becomes the refrain. Sayeko gandharvanandah shrotriyasya chaka mahatasya. Shrotriyasya. It belongs to the person who has no possessions, sitting under a tree. Very happy, enjoying the Gandharva's Ananda right here without becoming a Gandharva. That's important. I don't have to do karma in order to, I don't have to do I don't have to look into the Shruti and say, what should I do to become a Gandharva? And let me do that. No need to do that. What should I do to become Indra? That's very clear. 100 Rajasuya Yajnas. I don't have to do that. And then sitting under a tree with barely any possessions and then just being contented. Why? Because the person is a Shrotriya, well studied, has been taught well by the teacher. What? Not calculus. This Brahma Vidya. Shrotriya, and then Akamahataha. Akamahataha means Kamena Nahataha, not hijacked by desires. Not hijacked by desires, because not killed off by desires, not coming into the sway of desires, that is Brahmanishtha. First one already is Shrotriya. So the person who is Shrotriya and the one who has a say over their desires enjoys all these levels of ananda without any problem. This is what is told in the Ananda Mimamsa. But here the Adi Shankara gives another reasoning why this Ananda Vishesha is being talked about. Why this Ananda Vishesha is talked about? Adi Shankara gives a very, very nice reasoning, awesome reasoning. He says that Tat परम आनंदमय लिंगाधिगम द्वारेण आनंद वृद्धि अवसान आत्मा ब्रह्म पुच्छम प्रतिष्ठा. So tat param brahma. So what is tat param? After this Anandamaya is understood by you as what? Vishishtah, as qualified by Priya, Moda, this, that, and what else? You know, Gandharvananda, this Ananda, that Ananda. It is what? Still the same Brahma Adhigama Adhikara. The chapter, the subject matter, the topic of what? Brahma Avagama or Adhigama still continues. And so what happens? Tataf Param. Tataf Param means the Anandamaya Linga Adhigama Dwarena, means the Linga means what? Lakshana. Lingate Anena. That which indicates is called Linga. So then Priya, Moda, Pramoda become Lingas. For what? Chidvastu. To understand Chaitanya. They are all what? You know, it's like you experience Priya, you experience Moda, you experience Pramoda, and you know that it's not outside of the Ananda which is Brahman. Because Brahmananda is not beyond. It has to include Priya, Moda, Pramoda. It has to include Manushyananda. It has to include Gandharvananda. It has to include Pitrulokananda. All the lokas, all the Anandas, it has to include. You cannot say it is beyond. But it is not a particular experience. Brahman is not any particular experience, but what is it? It is the truth of all experiences. So the Ananda, the small Ananda, Faluda Ananda, ice cream Ananda, cookie Ananda, cookie plus Ananda, cookie Ananda, you know, Sandhi will come. Yeah, so then all these Anandas are not outside of this. This is what is talked about by Swami Vidyaranya in the last 3 chapters of a highly celebrated work called Panchadashi. Vishayananda. It ends with Vishayananda. Chapter ends with Vishayananda. Vishayananda, Vidyananda, and Yogananda. Last 3 chapters. So, Yoganande Brahmananda, he concludes. Vidyanande Brahmananda, Vishayanande Brahmananda. So in Vidyananda, what is there? Brahmananda only I am experiencing. In Yogananda, also Brahmananda only I am experiencing. And so, see, this kind of an analysis cannot be done in Vijnanamaya, because the Kartritvam is not so important as Bhoktritvam. That's why the Anandamaya is, the Brahman is the tail or the basis or the Adhisthana of Anandamaya. Because why? What does everybody want? Ananda. What kind of Ananda? Unending Ananda. But that unending, limitless Ananda without size-wise limitless, space-wise limitless, time-wise limitless, is not an object of experience. Because experience is what? Limited. How is it limited? Because it needs a means. There should be a madhyam. Madhyam means means. Madhyam is medium. There should be a medium of experience, which is what? Buddhi. Antakarana is the medium of experience. And how big is the buddhi? Pea-sized brain. Okay, so there itself, we have a limitation. Small brain. No, my brain is very big. How big can it be? Huh? How big can it be? And somebody said, and I later on, somebody else told me, somebody who was a specialist told me that's not quite true. But some people believe that we only use 15% of our brains, and the rest 85%, 85% is unused or something like that. And apparently it's a little more complicated than that. It's not just, one is using 15% of the brain. But whatever it is, the brain is what? Finite. It's not infinite. So if the brain or the buddhi or the antahkarana is the medium for the experience of this ananda, the medium being finite, it can only funnel and hold this much ananda. So if you want to catch a whole ocean and you take a teacup and go there, how much of the ocean will you catch? As much as you can hold in the teacup. So the antahkarana, which is a delimiting factor, is the size of the teacup, and the brahmananda is the size of the ocean. How much can you take? So if you are trying to understand it experientially, you will always come up short. Yet, this is the message of this section. And yet, if you say, I don't want the experience, whatever, I'm done with experience, I'm going to understand it intellectually, then also you will fall short. Because without the experience, how are you going to understand? Only because of the experience we can understand Ananda. And so therefore, this Priya, Moda and Pramoda, etc., they are all what? Ishtavastu, because you want that. And then, so Anandamaya Linga Adhigama Dvarena. So the Anandamaya becomes the Linga for which Adhigama, of which Brahman. So Anandamaya becomes the indicator of the understanding of Brahman. Dvarena means it becomes a doorway. And so what kind of Anandamaya? Vishishta Anandamaya. An Anandamaya that is cut up, that is what's the word for it? The Anandamaya that is cut up, that is put into various small pieces, like Priya, Moda, various gradations. So this is so therefore this is the Bheda is there. And so the Bheda is all to understand what? Chidvastu. And so the Chidvastu, which is the non-dual experience of the Atma, is paradoxically understood through these Anandamayasya Linga, which is what? All finite. So the infinite is understood through the finite vrittis, as it were. Why? Because, as he will point out very beautifully, the Antahkarana is illumining the Ananda vritti. And what is illumining the Antahkarana? Brahman. Brahma Chaitanya is illumining the Antahkarana and equipping it to illumine what? The Ananda vritti. So therefore, if I focus on the vritti, if I focus on the experience, then what? It is finite. If I focus on the experiencer, then also it is finite. If I focus on the object of experience, then also it is finite. And so therefore what? I focus on the Antahkarana being illumined. Antahkarana means Buddhi, Antahkarana, same. Being illumined by he's going to say all this very nicely. Being illumined by Chaitanya, that is not a vritti, it's there always. That's there always. So I look at the Jnata, which is a vritti. And what is the vritti? It is superimposed upon that Chaitanya. Like, there is that maybe it's not available right now, but then for children, a few decades ago, you could get some kind of a pad which has a kind of a little foam behind it, and they would write it, and then you could flip a page, and then it would all disappear. So it's like that. So you say Jnata, you write nowhere. And then what? It's as though superimposition, you lift the page, it's mithya. It's resolved in that same Ananda. It's resolved in that Brahmananda. It's in the Brahma Chaitanya, it is resolved. And so like this, each and every vritti comes and goes, But the content of the vritti, the truth of the vritti does not come and go, and that is myself alone. Why? Because svatas siddhatvat, because it is self-illumined. So we need Brahma Chaitanya to illumine the buddhi, we need the buddhi in turn to illumine the vrittis, and we need the vritti to illumine the object. But that which does not require any illumination is what? Myself. This is what has to be understood, and he's going to do that in a very, very nice way. So then he says that so Anandamayaha eva vishishtah artha visheshasya Shuddha. This is not Bhashya, this is Tika. Okay, Tika is there? No, it's not there. So Shuddha Chiddhatoho, Chiddhatu means Chidvastunah Chaitanyasya Jnana Rupasya Anandamayah Linga Adhigamadvarena. So, and then he says Vriddhi Avasanaha. Vriddhi is there. Vriddhi means it is an ever increasing Ananda. Why? Priya is, Moda is better than Priya. Pramoda, further Vriddhi. So this Anandamaya is getting bigger and bigger and more dilated in the next section which we talked about, which is what? Ananda Mimamsa. And then what? Then you keep multiplying by 100 and this and that and all this. And then he says that let's go back to Priya Moda Pramoda, and what is the basis, the Adhishthana, the truth of Priya Moda Pramoda, that is the tail of this bird, Priya Moda Pramoda bird. What is that? Brahma. And so then he describes Brahman very nicely. Sarva vikalpaspadaha, sarva vikalpanam adhishthanam. Vikalpaspadaha means, aspada means adhisthana, the final resting place of all vikalpas. All vikalpas means what? Aham, idam, I, and I vritti and this vritti. Vikalpa. Jiva Jagat Vikalpa. And then what? Jiva Vikalpa. Vikalpa means differences, Bheda. Jiva, one Jiva different from other Jiva. Then Jiva is of course different from Jagat. Jagat is different from Ishvara. There are certain schools of thought. Let's say Jagat is different from Ishvara, Sankhya, etc. Then Jiva of course is different from Ishvara. Many of the Dvaita schools will say that. And then so this is all what? Vikalpa. And then there are many more Vikalpas. Then we can say Karaka Vikalpa, Karta, Karma, object, subject, and what else do we have? Instrument. Instrument of action, object of action, subject of action, different from the instrument, purpose of action, place of origin of the action, and the connection to different factors in the action, sixth case, possessive case, genitive case, location of action. All these things are Karaka Bheda. So that is also another Vikalpa. What other Vikalpas are there? So many Vikalpas are. Then different kinds of, this again Tikakara points out, different kinds of Jivas are there. What kinds of Jivas are there? They are divided into 4. Very interesting. Shvetaja. Sweda means sweat, born of sweat. What do you mean born of sweat? You can't take it literally. Nothing is born of sweat, but it is like this. You keep some rice, especially in tropical climate, you keep some rice and don't talk to it for 3 months, and then you will see small little beings in the rice. And then you're surprised, where did they come from? They were not there. I had only put rice. But that moisture, that humidity is the cause of birth of beings. They are all called Svedajaha. Then we have Udbhijaha. Udbhijaha means Prithivim Udbhidya Jayante, means they break the earth open and come out. What is that? Monsters. Plants. Okay. So plants. And then Shvetaja, Udbhija, Andaja. Andaja means omelette. Omelette is also Andaja, born of egg. No, here it means Before it was eaten up as an omelette, what comes? The small chicks, birds, baby birds, etc. And that's the nice part. Then we also have baby snakes, baby crocs, and all other things also are there, reptiles. Then finally we have Jarayuja. What is Jarayuja? Mammalian birth. So one thing is born directly from the mother. So these are mammals. So each one has Bheda. So this is the Jagat, full of kind of Bhedas. Then you say tree. Then you have so many trees, jackfruit tree, then kiwi tree, this tree, that tree, etc. So many trees. And so like this, so jiva bheda, then color bheda, neela, pita, then frequency bheda. What else? Different sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, frequency bheda. Each one has a different note, each one, and in between also there are some ornate notes. Shuddha, and then Shuddha, and then Tivra. All these things are there. And so then all these, so wherever in the whole Jagat, it's full of Vikalpa. Then what other Vikalpas? Panchabhuta. Akasha is not Vayu, Vayu is not there. And then Sukshma Panchabhuta, Sthula Panchabhuta, like this. So many Vikalpas are there. And then what is that? Atma Sarva Vikalpaspadaha. There all the Vikalpas come and roll out their beds and go to sleep. That's where they find their home. They come back, they do all the work of the Jagat, and their resting place is what? Atma, which is itself what? Sarva Vikalpasya Adhishthanam is what? Nirvikalpaha, free of all Vikalpas. Even though it is home to every single Vikalpa, colors and sounds, and then short and long and medium, and waves, sound waves, and then so many other kinds of waves, gravitational forces, and this and that, so many things, planets, and various NASA discovered so many things. All these Vikalpas come home to roost, come home to rest. Where? Interestingly, paradoxically, in a place which is, we can't even call it a place, in that which is free of Vikalpa, which is free of time, which is also free of space. Very, very fantastic. This Bhashya is amazing. And so then, actually, this Brahman we can't even call Nirvikalpa. From the standpoint of Vikalpa, we negate and say Nirvikalpa. By itself, to call it Nirvikalpa doesn't make any sense. But that negation, neti neti, that is why Nirvikalpa. Okay, from its own standpoint, it simply is. And there is no question of Vikalpa because it doesn't think of Vikalpa. So then, asyameva guhayam adhigantavyaha. Then Anandamaya Adhigamadvarena, Lingadhigamadvarena. So that which is Niratishaya Ananda Swarupa. Niratishaya means without any description possible, and which is Advayaha. Sarva Vikalpaspada. Aspada means Ashraya. Sarva Vikalpashraya. The resting place of for all the divisions. Vikalpa means divisions. So this should be understood. How? Guhayam. It is recognized in the buddhi only. Tatra praveshaha prakalpyate. Because it is recognized. See, all these vikalpas and the resting place of these vikalpas, as soon as I said resting place of the vikalpas, everybody felt at rest. And so why? Because there was a recognition that's happened. And that recognition cannot be in the nose, cannot be in the toes. Where should it be? In the buddhi. In the buddhi. And then this is what is the, so therefore, in the buddhi, when it is recognized, in order to make it pakka, what do we say? It has entered. It hasn't really entered. It was never not there to begin with. So because Brahman is everywhere, and then so buddhi is nothing but Brahman. And so therefore it was never not there, but to make it a place of understanding, because the topic is what? Brahma Adhigama or Avagama. The understanding of Brahman being the topic, we talk about entry, Upacharyate, meaning it's simply a alankara, a figure of speech. Prakalpyate means upacharat uchyate, kalpyate. And Brahma praveshatvena vakye kalpyate. And how to take it? Gauna vritya upacharyate. Tikakara says. Gauna vritya means not the, you shouldn't take the literal meaning. Literal meaning means pravesha, entry. Okay, let's see, how did it enter my buddhi? Then you sit and think. So many things I want to enter my buddhi, it doesn't enter. How did this Brahman enter the buddhi? If I start thinking, then there is no end to that. Correct? So then, upacharyate, it is just pointed out like that, so that we understand, that we appreciate Brahman's presence in the buddhi, that which lights up the buddhi and equips the buddhi to light up other things. That is that is why the buddhi, this is just a method. It is not the entry, etc. It's just Brahma Avagama. Nahi anyatra upalabhyate Brahma. Nowhere else is Brahman available. Like I said, in the toes and in the nose, it's not available for understanding. I mean, Brahman is everywhere, but it is not available for understanding anywhere else except where? In the faculty of cognition. Cognition of what? Cognition of anything. Jagataha upalabdhisthanam, the place where Jagat is recognized is the same place where what? Jagataha adhishthanasya upalabdhisthanam eva. So the truth of the Jagat is recognized where? In the same place as the Jagat is recognized. Is this clear? If this is clear, then wait for this big dhamaka he is going to give. He is going to say that in fact the cognition of the Jagat is very, very important for the cognition of Brahman, because Brahman, not having attributes, relies on you to first recognize the objects in the Jagat. And since every object is Brahman, you recognize Brahman sannikarshat, because of the proximity, again within quotes, of Brahman to these various objects which are recognized in the buddhi. So if there were no objects at all, then what? How will you recognize Brahman? Because it will be shining all the time, but there will be not any anything to recognize really, if there were no objects at all. Now that there are objects, so you have the entry of a particular object through the vritti in the buddhi. Entry means because of the indriya sannikarshat, because of the proximity of, let's say you see a flower. The flower enters the buddhi how? Through the eyes. The flower is close or in line of the eyes. The eyes happen to be open and they are seeing. I see the flower, I say, and the flower becomes an object of the buddhi. Through what? Through the indriyas. And then, so the flower comes, and after the flower comes, what happens? I see something else. I see pot. Flower comes, and then flower goes, pot comes, and then pot goes. This gives me the space to see that, to understand that which never comes or goes. Because of which I see the going and the coming of the flower and the pot and the elephant and whatever else I see throughout the day. Isn't that beautiful? So if supposing flower was not there, pot was not there, nothing was there, then how will Brahman be illumined? It would be just there in a not properly recognized. It would be recognized as I, perhaps, but even for that, You need the objects, because Atma, Anatma, this is how I recognize myself. I, not I. So if if the Jagat were not there being constantly illumined by Brahman, discreetly as objects, I would not understand that which is constantly illumined, which is need not be objectified, which is the truth of my nature. And so therefore it's a very interesting connection. So nahi anyatra. So first thing we have to understand is Brahman is not available in any other place except where? Except in the buddhi. Why? Nirvisheshatvat. So it doesn't have anything to do with anything. So how will it be available anywhere? It's not available any other place except the buddhi, because it is there in the buddhi. It is there as Chaitanya. Then he says, Vishesha sambandha hi upalabdhi hetuhu drishtaha. This is really brilliant. This is the most brilliant thing, because nowhere else we'll understand this. Vishesha sambandha. So what is Brahman? Nirvishesha. No Vishesha. No adjectives. No nouns. Nothing. No jati. No kriya. No sambandha. Nothing is there. No gunas. Okay. How are you going to recognize that? In and through the Visheshas only. So Vishesha Sambandha Vartate Eva. So Vishesha Sambandha means what? The connection to the objects is there because of the discrete coming and going of the objects easily leads me to understand that which doesn't come and go as what? The truth of myself alone. Very beautiful. So Vishesha Sambandha Hetuhu. We'll understand all this in detail, but for now, just to see the beauty of this. And then he gives an example. Yatha Rahoho Chandrarka Vishesha Sambandha. Beautiful example. It's like seeing, like you say, I want to see Rahu. Not in a Navagraha temple. There some, some small murti will be there. Not in a drawing. If you see the drawing, Ketu will not have a head, Rahu will not have a body, all these things will be there. But if you say, no, I want to see this shadow, there is no planet, shadow. This shadow called Rahu and Ketu. How are you going to see Rahu and Ketu? How? The eclipse. Because it has to be connected to the moon or the sun. We will see if, we won't see because it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's happening on the 28th. We have here lunar eclipse. And in America, they had solar eclipse on the 14th of October. So now lunar eclipse will be there. This is eclipse season. So now, how do you recognize Rahu? You can't just go say, Rahu, who are you? You can't say that. You can't see shadow, just like you cannot see darkness. You can't see darkness. You can't see shadow. Correct? How can you see Rahu, who is nothing but a shadow? For the shadow has to fall on something. Then you can say, aha, Rahu, that's who. And so, see, when the shadow of the earth falls, then you say on the moon, then you say this. Then you say it's Rahu. Then the shadow of the moon falls on the sun, then you say Ketu or whatever it is. So you say, so Rahu, Ketu are seen only in proximity with Chandra, which is what? Chandra means sun, right? Moon. And Arka. What does Arka mean? Sun. So in proximity with sun and moon. It's not seen otherwise. So likewise, Nirvishesham Brahma, to appreciate, it has to have Sannikarsha with Savishesha objects. Very beautiful. And there are, of course, it's not as simple as that. There are a few, what are they called? Intricacies. And we will appreciate that when? Tomorrow, not today. We'll appreciate that tomorrow. Here's a question. Isn't it that you realize Ishvara in the gap between two perceptions? Yes, exactly. If there was no gap, there would be no Ishvara to appreciate. Correct, you got it. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell. So the perceptions have to be there for the gap to be there. Otherwise, it's not called gap. If there are no perceptions, there is no gap. So the discrete perceptions allow us to appreciate that which is there, which is not an object of perception, which is myself. Yes, glad you got that. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Yes. There, you can say namaste to
Thank you.
everybody.
Hello to everybody.
Yeah, there she's saying,
Nice to
everybody
see
is
all of
saying,
you.
everybody is saying hello. Oh, it comes in little packets. Alas. Here, please distribute for saving time. Not all for you, okay? Yeah.
Swamiji, you're really funny. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.
So, yeah. Please distribute. Here, catch. Yeah.
Swami, switch it off.
I get more.
I'm very relaxed. I'm listening. They're watching.
Yeah, they are watching because let them have vicarious presence. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Hari Om. Om Namah Shivaya. Om. How do we switch this off like this? Oh, all the best.